Welcome to Limited Time Only.
I'm Esther.
And I'm Susie.
Limited Time Only is the podcast for anyone who feels there aren't enough hours in their life.
And each week there's a different topic for you to get your ears around.
Featuring chat, comedy sketches and interviews with interesting people.
Limited Time Only is a pick-me-up in podcast form.
The special guest later in the episode is Chesney Hawkes. My mum's a big fan. This week it's time for Changing Seasons. In this episode, you will hear a naughty swear word, specifically
We want to say a very big thank you to everyone who signed up to be an LTO patron over on patreon.com. And a special thank you to our very first patron, Mr. Neil Hopkins, who jumped on as soon as we announced that we were having a Patreon page. Thank you so much, Neil. And thank you to you all for signing up. It means so much to us to have your support. And there's going to be so much good stuff over on patreon.com. So we'll see you over there. Right, let's get on with it. Hello, Esther.
Hello, Susie.
I always like to be formal with these
Yes,
things.
I know, and I always go to call you... I know your name's actually Susan, but that is the biggest mind F that I don't understand. You're not a Susan to me. It's really weird.
Well, think how I feel. It's absolutely weird. It's like another person on my back.
You are not a Susan in my eyes. Not at all.
No, it's a very strange... It's like another person. Oh, my passport is a completely other person.
Yes. Like
completely different first name and surname.
It's almost like having one of those, like Sasha Fierce with Beyonce. She becomes Sasha Fierce when she goes on stage. When you travel, you become Susan.
Susan.
Don't
Traveller. Mess with Susan.
Don't mess with Susan. She's very prim and she's very formal, and she travels around.
Travel everywhere. By train, plane, and automobile. Probably not by train because they're always on strike.
Yes, oh God.
But we won't get into that because this is our first episode of the new season, season 3.
Oh my goodness me. I'm very excited.
Lovely. Season 3. Oh my goodness me. Can't think of anything to rhyme with 3.
I can. We. So excited.
It's gone downhill already. Well, what I would like to talk about in this first chat of the new season is new seasons.
Yes.
Strangely enough. New starts, fresh beginnings. This time of year, lovely autumn, always makes me think of the start of the new academic year. And obviously we both have children who are still within the academic years, but I don't think I'm ever going to lose that sense of new term.
No.
Even when I'm in my 90s, I'll still pop to the shops and buy a new notebook.
Oh, love it.
And open flicker the pages and have that smell, new pen, and get ready for the new term and learning new things, starting new things. It's more of a fresh start for me than the start of the year. I think.
Gosh, yeah, me too. Absolutely. I think opaque tights. I think notebooks. I think stews, stationery, fresh notebooks, boots, scarves, coziness, hunkering down, fires, just crumbles. I love autumn. I'm all over autumn.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I love it.
You are full on hugger.
You're
a hugger booger.
I'm a hugger booger. I am a hugger booger. I love it. And my kids love autumn. My daughter's birthday is autumn.
Yeah.
But they're both quite cosy people. So they're very much like, can we just go to the National Trust? Can we stay in and get cosy? Can we have I love it. I love
They're
it.
adorable.
And all my ambitions sort of changes when I get to the autumn. Spring, I'm sort of don't want to be in the house, want to be travelling, want to be doing stuff. And through the summer, and then you get to the autumn and I become very nesty. I become I become quite dormant. I still have desires and aspirations, but I want to make the house pretty and I want to light candles and Are
you like a hedgehog
Yes.
or a dormouse? And you it's your hibernation period.
Yeah, Ian calls me the dormouse because I can nod off anywhere. And I just, I'm a sleeper. And
You're so cute.
I mean, I've got a very loud love to be a dormouse, really, but I like being cozy. I like being in the woods in the autumn. And it's just a fresh start, isn't it? It's new stationery and new chapter.
Yeah, I do. I love being outside at this time of year. Probably more than in the summer, because I am very, very pale and get a bit paranoid about sunburn in the summer. And get a bit too hot and just end up being inside more than I probably should. And also, well, I said this to you actually recently, didn't I? That I do get a bit fearful around this time of year because the last 2 years I've had a real dip in my energy levels, more so than other years, probably to do with hormones and all that stuff. But October, November, December have been really quite a slog for me, and I'm a bit worried about it happening again. So I am conscious that I need to spend a lot of time outside, get that vitamin D in my eyeballs, but also just having the energy and moving my body. So one of the things that I do think it's like it is a new year, and it's that kind of that sense of having resolutions, which are a tricky thing because they can last. You have a resolution, you're going to do this for the whole year or whatever, and then it only lasts maybe a day, like my juice diet that time, which lasted probably 10 minutes.
That's probably a good thing.
Probably a very good thing. I did not need to be on that.
No.
But I want to get back to fitness, because I find over the summer holidays, because I've got the kids around all the time, I just don't really exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do the go to the park and all that stuff, and I swam in the sea quite a lot this summer, but I don't do my usual go for a run because I can't, because the kids are just there and I've got to look after them, unfortunately. So my fitness goes really downhill. So I come to the end of the summer holiday. I mean, actually, I got shingles at the end of the summer holidays.
Yeah.
And I think, it isn't something you can, it wasn't my fault. I'm not going to blame myself. But I think it is an immune system thing. And I was run down and I was tired and I hadn't been exercising. I'd probably been eating far too much ice cream. So now I've come out of that. I haven't got shingles anymore. I'm feeling a bit like I want a fresh start. So I've just been for a run.
Very impressive.
And yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm motivated to get through the colder, darker months and come out the other side. I'm kind of determined not to fall into the pit of gloom that I have done. I love autumn, but I do go vroom.
That's brilliant, though, that you're putting all those things into place because you're aware of what's happened before. And take a vitamin D supplement as well if you don't already. Dr. Esther advises.
Thank you, Doctor.
And it's great that you're aware of it. I struggle with the darkness. I do struggle with knowing that it's going to be dark early. I find that very challenging. And so does my husband. He really finds that tough. And I find my days feel more limited. I don't know if you find that as well, because
I think they are, really,
because you can't. Even simple things like walking the dog. I can do that in the summer at 6:30 in the morning if I want, or 8:30 at night. Whereas it's sort of a very short window of maybe 9 till about 2 to get her in.
Yeah.
Within light hours, particularly as a woman walking on your own, I feel a vulnerability. So I won't go. I'm sort of in the house more through the winter, and I do get that.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that vulnerability, that darkness is, it does have a preventative side to it.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to be taking the kids to the park.
No,
when it's dark, they're not going to be swinging on the monkey bars. And also, jogging. I don't want to go jogging around the park when it's dark. Unless I was with somebody else, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that would be okay.
Your world becomes smaller.
But yeah, and I suppose with your husband, he cycles, doesn't he?
Yeah, loads, yeah.
And I don't suppose he likes cycling in the dark much.
And I think because he works quite conventional hours, although he works from home 4 days of the week now, it's that when he starts work, he works 7:30 till 4. It's dark, and then it's dark, and so there's sort of no light in his life through the winter months. And
oh God!
Apart from me, obviously.
Oh, I mean, you are the beacon in all our lives, Esther.
I always think when we do this, I must sound like a massive arsehole because I was like, apart from me, I'm amazing.
No, because I think it's important to give yourself self-love.
Absolutely.
And to recognise
that I'm amazing.
the joy that you create. Come on.
Yeah, man. I'm
not just for my life, but for all of us.
Oh, well.
And I'm sure the listeners would agree.
That's why God put me on the earth. Because that's what she was thinking.
Hey. Well, yes, and I think one of the things about fresh start and that new routine, new resolutions, it is really hard to keep them going, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I was looking at there's the 2190 rule apparently about routines and new habits and stuff, and there's 21 days to make a habit, and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change.
Oh wow!
Like my flossing, which I just did. Because the hygienist had made me cry. Through pain and through humiliation.
Oh, really?
And shame. Yeah, that I was like, I've got to floss my teeth because it's important, and I don't want her to make it so painful again.
What did she say? What did she, or he or she?
Oh well, no, she's just like, you've got to do it. You've got to keep them clean.
You dirty bugger.
Yeah, she pointed a finger at me. And no, she didn't. But she did make me cry with pain.
Wow.
Because she did nick a little, that little bit of flesh that kind of connects your bottom lip to your jaw.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got an ulcer and everything.
Oh.
So maybe she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
To
teach you a lesson.
Really hammer it home.
Yeah.
But since then, and that was 2 years ago or something, I have flossed nearly every day.
Yeah, I'm a flosser. Although sometimes I fall out of the habit, and then I will read something like, you're more likely to have a heart attack and die if you don't floss your teeth because the bacteria get... And I'm like, oh, I'll start flossing again. But,
oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, it is. That's what I say to the kids about cleaning their teeth. It's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if your teeth aren't clean, your whole body is unclean.
You're rancid. Absolutely rancid.
But it is true. Yeah, it's true. Also, your breath.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get off teeth. But that whole idea of a routine, and but it's so easy to fall back out of something. And I often think, right, I'm going to start a new routine. I'm going to get up at 6. I'm going to go for a run, and then I'm going to have granola, and I'll sit in the back garden to have that. And then it gets to 6 o'clock, and my alarm goes off, and I'm like, nah. Turn it off and get up at 7.
And then don't you just feel rubbish about yourself? Because I'm always writing, this is my day plan, and I'm going to do this on a Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll do it this way. And I'm going to block out periods of time, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to do 10 minutes of Wim Hof breathing. And then I'm going to do 20 minutes of yoga. And then I'm going to have a cold shower. And then you can't be asked to get out of bed. And then you think, oh, God, I'm so useless.
And then the whole timetable's not back.
Yeah.
I'll show you. I've got a few things to show you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to look at you. We don't normally look at each other.
I mean, I know because we are filming this, but not necessarily everyone will see it. But I've got. I'll just describe them and I'll hold them up.
Okay.
But I bought a lovely planner in June or July. I bought it, and it's gorgeous. It's got all the months separated out, and there's motivational quotes. Blown? What? Blown where you're planted. No, bloom. Bloom.
What do you mean, bind?
Motivational quotes written in an indecipherable, what's it called?
What?
Indecipherable font. Motivational quotes written in an indecipherable font.
Right.
So you kind of have to really look at them to understand.
Yes.
But it bloom where you're planted, I mean, that's a bit of a weird one.
I'm glad it's not blow where you're planted, because that's...
Be the one who decided to go for it.
Yes.
Let's see what's this month. So we're in October. Kindness is free. Sprinkle that stuff everywhere. I mean, now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is just a pile of old shit, isn't it? No wonder I haven't written in it. But I bought that with the intention of separating my day out and putting in the 6 o'clock run and all that. I've not done it, Esther. I might just burn it.
We interrupt this programme with a U-bash. At this time of year, up to 3% of individuals in the general population are affected by seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Remedies include getting outside as much as possible, purchasing a daylight lamp, or, if you're very lucky, buggering off to the Caribbean for 3 months of the year. However, you could try my method. Buy 500 mince pies and 25 litres of gin, get into bed at the start of November and stay there until March. I'll see you then. Goodbye.
I've been doing, and I bought the book, oh God, in 2019, I think, The Artist's Way.
Oh, yes.
I've started doing that, and that is absolutely changing my life. I've heard so many people talk about it and how it makes such a big difference to them. And I bought it, and what I would do is flick through it and then go, that bit's good. But I'm actually doing it as a proper course now, and week 7 or 8, I think it's week 8 starts
so
me.
impressive.
Do you know, but it's taken me a long time to get there. If you don't know what The Artist's Way is, it is a book. In fact, it's near me, I think. Yes, here we are. It's oh shit, knocking my microphone. The Artist's Way is a book by Julia Cameron, and I think she wrote it in the 70s or 80s, and it's really it's a 12-week course, but it's a book, and each week you read a chapter, and then she gives you activities to complete. But you also do this thing where you write morning pages every morning. Sometimes I don't do them in the morning. Sometimes.
What's the morning?
So
pages?
the morning page is a stream of consciousness, which is why it's ideal if it's morning. You get up and you just write, ideally 3 pages, but I've got an A4 book, so sometimes I'll do 1, sometimes I'll do 2, sometimes I'll do a lot. And sometimes I won't do it till the middle of the day. But it's a really good way of sort of the idea behind it is that you dump all of the noise in your head onto the page, and so it's gone, because we get blocked by ourselves. We block ourselves creatively, and I'm loving it. There's so many different activities, and there's all about how you feel about money and your belief system and changing that. And I'm definitely feeling it's giving me a lot of clarity, which is really, really good. And it's just a really interesting book, and I know so many people who've said it's changed their lives, and it's definitely doing something for me. So if you feel, and it doesn't even have to be that you feel that you're an artist or anything, it's just tapping into your potential and looking at the blocks that you have. And I feel that talking to a lot of my friends who are the same age as me, I feel like a lot of us are in a transitional period. And I heard something recently that was so interesting, which is, what season are you in? Are you in a planting season where you're putting down new ideas and building something new? Are you
bloom
in
where you are planted?
Yes, bloom where you are planted. Oh, look at that! Oh my God, that's
Maybe it's not so much rubbish after all.
Yeah. And then are you in a planting season where you're sort of working on something and coming up with something new? Are you in a growing season? Are you in a harvesting season where you can sort of reap the rewards of that? And sometimes you try to harvest before your ideas have grown. Like, we start a new project and then we try and go, well, that's not coming to fruition quickly enough. I'm going to leave it.
You're rushing it,
and so but you're not in that right season. And that wasn't in this book, but it does, that sort of resonates. And I think a lot of my friends are at transitional points in their life where they're working out what they want. Now they're in midlife. What am I doing? Where am I going? Which I know we've talked about this stuff before, but I think this book is really, really helpful for clarity.
Have you got tips? Because you actually bought me this book,
I did.
and I have flicked through it when you first bought it for me, and then put it aside.
Yes.
And then
as is the normal
at the
thing.
end of August. Yes, at the end of August, I bought my the Filofax. I got my house beautiful, ready to do up the house, and I got The Artist's Way out. That's another thing we go changing things in your house.
Yes.
I mean, I have so many plans and they never happen. But back to The Artist's Way. I did actually start doing it. So I think I've done 7 morning pages, but that was at the start of September and then I stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that motivation to keep doing it.
Do you know what? I don't know why it's different, because I am a starter of things but not a finisher of things on a lot of occasions, and I don't know what is different this time, because I've gone to start this book so many times and just not committed to it, and there's something slightly different this time. I don't know why, and I am sticking to it. I'm not there have been days when I've missed the morning pages and I haven't even done them in the evening, but there's
So
just
that's
a
okay
pull.
because you just do it the next day.
Yeah, and I'm not beating myself up if I'm not doing it perfectly, and I'm not doing every activity that's listed. But I'm finding it's definitely making a difference, and I think actually it's helping me grow in confidence because I'm doing a lot of the stuff that's there. And actually, when we talk about the days and we plan them out and then we don't do them, it knocks your confidence because you start your day and you haven't honoured all the things you said you would do. So you feel like a failure before your day started.
And you think you're useless.
And you think, oh, for God's sake, I'm never going to change. I'm never going to do this. You're never going to get anywhere. And then this inner critic comes in. Whereas because I'm doing this and I'm prioritising it and I'm giving it time, I feel it's boosting my confidence in the same way that exercise does. I'm going to go for a run. I've done the run.
Yes,
it was hard to get out there.
I feel so great.
Yeah,
having done that run today, I'm like, I've done it, and and it was sunny and it was lovely, and it gives me the confidence to do something else. Yeah, to focus on something. Whereas, if you don't achieve what you said you're going to do,
you let yourself down.
You've let yourself down, and then you kind of don't deserve the other stuff. And if I can't be bothered, I haven't managed to do that. What's the point in doing anything else? Yeah, it's that kind of defeatist attitude that you put upon yourself.
It is, and I've read a few things that saying if you don't honour the promises you keep to yourself, you don't trust yourself, so you don't feel you can. So any big plan you make, you'd think, well, I can't follow it through anyway because I can't even get up and exercise. I can't even do this. So you sort of, and so.
You sabotage yourself.
You're sabotaging
sabotaging yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because your mind and body want to sabotage yourself because that's what they know and that's what's safe. So, we never complete this, and it doesn't want you to do anything different because it wants to keep you in a state where you know who you are, and I'm somebody that doesn't do this. So to break through that. It means your confidence grows because you trust yourself, and then you feel that you can achieve more. And something's changing with me from doing this book. I'm looking for clarity. I'm looking for clarity in my life. I need to pin myself down.
Yes, and I think it's just that little bit of extra effort. I mean, I often find at the weekends I get quite defeatist because the children are around all the time. And I think I know this will change as they get older as well. But it feels like I don't have any time, the opportunity to do, go for that run or do that morning pages or whatever. But I think actually I probably do. I think I just, it's easier not to. It's easier not to carve out that time.
Does it feel like a big mountain as well? Because I sometimes think, I could just go and do like 10 star jumps. I'm like,
even 10. I mean, I'll do 10. I'll do 10 squats. Nah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is because I love exercise, but yeah, absolutely. It feels, or I think, well, I'll go and do an exercise video. Oh, but then I've got to get the mat out, change my clothes, make sure no one's bothering me, plug the laptop in, find one to do. And it's just,
and then have a shower afterwards and wash my hair.
Have a shower. Yeah. Oh, and then I'll get interrupted anyway, and the cat. I'll probably stand on the cat. It's all these things. But actually, what I think is important is not immediately doing the stuff, but setting the path so you can. So it's the prep. It's like like painting a wall. The painting the wall bit is actually quite easy, but to get to that point, there's so much preparation. You've got to choose what paint you're doing. You've got to buy the paint. You've got to clear the space. You've got to put the thing down on the mat down on the floor. You've got to put the masking tape around the skirting board. It's so much to get to that point that I always just go, oh no, I can't jump over that hurdle. So I'm like, right, I've got to just do it in tiny stages. Choose the paint one day, 1 week. Next week, buy it. The week after that. So, I mean, it's like, it's almost like you can't rush. You can't rush the preparation for stuff. And once you've decided that you want to do something, it's the prep for doing it, that takes the time, really, rather than doing it.
In the summer, I wrote down how I was going to run my days, like I said before. But the thing is, I think it's that I'm trying to change too much in one fell swoop. So I'm going to do the Wim Hof breathing, and I'm going to do 20 minutes of yoga, and I'm going to eat this way, and I know what my body likes, and I know I should do this, and I'm going to read for 20 minutes every day. And there's too much. And actually, I did say, I know we often reference him, but I saw Dr. Chatterjee put a post yesterday that was saying something along the lines of, just do one press up. Just do one press up.
Yeah.
You might not do 100 press ups. Just do one. One is better than none.
Just floss one tooth.
Floss
one tooth. Choose the best tooth and floss that one.
Lean into the best tooth. Don't worry about the rubbish ones. Just lean into the one.
As long as I've got one, I could be a great character in a Dickensian adaptation.
And a really good whistler.
Hey, Shronny. That is really good. That's really good advice.
And I think it's too much. I think that's what the stumbling block is. It's like, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do this. Oh, hang on. Like you say, I've got to pick a video and then I've got to have a shower. Well, how about I don't change my clothes, but I do 5-star jumps, and that's it for today. And then if I feel that I can do more, but it's the whole everything that leads up to it, and then you think, oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I sitting on the sofa scrolling Instagram instead of actually just doing 10 minutes of yoga? And then when you build it in, then the more you crave it, don't you? And so I think it's not picking all the things, it's picking one thing and doing it a little bit and just building it in.
Yeah, you're so right. I'd like to thank Dr. Esther Stanford for being with us today and imparting her wisdom. We've had a book recommendation, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. We've had the advice to just do one thing. In fact, I will add to that, there's a brilliant podcast called Limited Time Only. Called Just One Thing. I think it's called Just One Thing. And it's Michael Mosley.
Oh yes.
And it's about doing one thing. I was listening to one about drinking tea is really good for you, which is a absolute thumbs up from me. Not sure about the 16 bourbon biscuits I have with it, but
just do one thing. Just drink the tea.
Do one thing
and
do one press up, floss one tooth. Listen to if you have to listen to one podcast, make sure it's limited time only. But if you can do two, maybe listen to that one. I love it. Oh, well, thank you, Dr. Stanford.
I am particularly wisdomous, so...
And I've only got one wisdom tooth. That's the only tooth I've got.
Ace?
Let's go. I'm going to go for one. I'm going to do a run, but just one step.
Okay, and I'm going to read one word in a book.
Remember, bloom where you're planted.
It's autumn in the enchanted wood, and if you listen very carefully, you might hear the trees talk to each other.
Good morning, Deciduous.
Is it evergreen? I hate this time of year.
But it's a beautiful autumnal day, Desi. All those lovely leaves carpeting the forest floor.
Yeah, don't rub it in. I'm freezing.
I think balding can look rather distinguished,
says the tree covered in shiny green good stuff.
I can't help it if I stay looking young all year round.
That'll be the needles, won't it?
I have a naturally youthful complexion. Nothing fake about me. Sunlight, water and oxygen is all I need.
To be honest, I wouldn't mind a bit of smoke and mirrors, as long as it didn't involve fire for obvious reasons. I look like something out of a horror film in the winter.
A bit stark in a certain light, maybe. You need to work it, girl. Embrace your lines. Strike a pose.
What, like this?
No, that's terrifying.
I haven't got the energy to work anything at the moment.
You'll be back to your usual lusher self in the spring. You've just got to get through these dark, grey, cold, gloomy, exhausting, interminable months.
Inspiring.
And they do say that it is the trees that remind us of how lovely it is to let things go.
Oh, that is actually nice.
But not to let yourself go.
All right, I'm getting away from you now. Oh, I can't.
Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Oh, I am.
I think of myself as a patron of the arts. I buy theatre tickets. Encore! I attend cinematic presentations.
Can I see some ID, madam? This is a 12 certification.
Oh, blast. And I adore a good art exhibition. Who's this by? It's just blobs.
Picasso?
Oh. But it's only now that I can call myself a true patron, as I've become a patron of Limited Time Only podcast. My support enables Susie and Esther to make LTO the best it can be, and gets me bonus content and experiences I don't want to miss. I've just signed up for the first patron-only LTO live online. To sign up, go to patreon.com and search for Limited Time Only podcast. There's a link in the show notes and in the LTO Instagram bio. I'll see you over there. I'm just off to the opera. Toodaloo! Esther and Susie had some technical difficulties at the start of their interview with Chesney Hawkes. Let's join them mid-panic.
Hello, Chesney. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear Esther. Okay, Esther.
Yes, it's all right. It's my mistake. I went through my mic. Christ on a bike.
Oh my God. Oh God.
I would love to know where Christ on a bike came from. And I guess that was probably Jesus Christ Superstar.
Is that what?
Yeah,
I just remember that thing you used to sing when we were kids. Jesus Christ Superstar came down from heaven on a Yamaha.
Yeah.
Killed a kid. Killed a kid.
There's your next hit single.
Today's guest is the one, the only, the age-defying Chesney Hawkes. A singer, songwriter, actor, mentor, and devoted husband and father, Chesney first burst onto the scene aged just 19 when he was cast by Roger Daltrey in the lead role of the film Buddy's Song. The film not only set many a young teen heart aflutter, but also featured his best-known single, The One and Only. A song that would catapult him straight to the top of the charts and into the nation's psyche. A song that is still so beloved by so many 32 years later that I cannot recall a wedding I have been to where it hasn't got every person up on the dance floor and singing along joyfully at full force. We talked to Chesney about his early days in showbiz, how he has handled the ups and downs of fame, his joy of mentoring up-and-coming artists, and how, at his core, he's a rock and roller. Welcome to the show, Chesney Hawkes. Now, back to Jesus Christ Superstar on that Yamaha.
Maybe that one's not quite so 2023.
No, it's so weird that you mentioned that. That is really odd because this morning I was walking my dog across the park, through the woods, and I was listening to your song Aeroplane. And it made me cry so much because it reminded me of my kids. But one of the memories that came back to me was being on the beach in Croyd, singing that at full pelt, walking down the beach with the kids, and the kids thinking it was hilarious that I was singing a song about killing somebody on a Yamaha. That's so you said
I know.
that.
Well, kids do pick you up on that kind of stuff that we used to. Stuff we used to say or sing or whatever from days gone by when life was a lot less PC. I guess we didn't really know what we were saying, did we? I mean,
No.
God,
Well, I think that about when I listen to pop songs and stuff from the past, or sometimes when things are really sad as well, and you go, well, I didn't get that at all. I was just like happily singing about
happy. And I was listening
terrible
to
heartbreak.
one of my favorite songs came on the other day, Dire Straits' Money for Nothing. And we're having dinner with a couple of friends, and I just suddenly remembered the second verse, and it's just so not okay.
I can't even remember what the lyrics are.
Is it bleak or
no? He
bad?
uses the gay slur starting with F.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never picked that up.
A couple of times. Yeah. Wow. It's like, wow. You just blatantly just said that.
Yeah.
And we sing it at school. And also it's only now that I listen to songs now that I've been listening to for 40 years or whatever, and I go, oh, that's what they're saying.
Exactly.
How I've heard this song literally 1,000 times. Never knew.
Yeah. No, it's funny, isn't it? It's crazy. The world has moved on and changed, guys.
Oh, it really has. Well, I mean, so thank goodness that we've made it.
We've made it through without being cancelled.
Not yet.
We still have time, girls.
This is only our 17th episode, Chesney. We haven't gone far enough yet.
Beginners.
We are. But how many episodes of your pod did you do?
We did like 5 series, so maybe 50.
Wow,
something like that.
I mean, that deserves a badge. We haven't got to badge
and
status.
that's 50 acoustic songs that I recorded for that.
Oh yes, that was
yeah.
such a lovely idea. I mean, is that why you stopped? Because it was like, this is too much work.
Like bloody hard work. When I first started doing it, I would record them in the studio and make really nice versions of it. And then I kind of got fed up with doing that because that does take a time. So I just started doing it live, just pick up a guitar and just do it like that.
Just make it up on the spot.
Yeah, well, I'd have a little bit of pre-warning of what the song would be, and of course I'd have to, because sometimes they would be crazy. Like I remember Toya Wilcox came on, and her one was Bjork. Was it Human Behavior?
Oh, lovely! I like that song.
Oh, it's a great song, but how the hell do you play that acoustically? You know, it's like...
She went to my school.
Oh gosh, really?
Yeah.
Obviously not in your year though.
No, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. I actually met her recently because it was this apocryphal. She was apocryphal at our school because she'd apparently been expelled. I don't think she was actually. I don't. It
makes sense, actually. To be honest, that sounds like something that would happen to Toya.
Yeah, it was kind of a prim girls' school.
Yeah, and she still has that kind of punk attitude towards life. You know, she is an incredibly spirited lady. I love her so much.
Her YouTube stuff. Well, she was in the Archers, so I don't know if she's tamed a little bit since then. That's how. Well,
I think even when she's doing the Archers, she probably was hiding her.
She was rocking it.
Her rock and roll spirit. Yeah, she's amazing. I did 4 episodes with her and Robert.
Their YouTube stuff.
Yeah, it was because they've been doing it for 3 years now, I guess. It's crazy now. They're making more money out of that than they are of anything else. Yeah. And so Robert went away for a tour with King Crimson, and he was gone for a month. So they had me come in and fill in for those 4 weeks, which was hilarious. I felt like their houseboy. I stayed with them for a couple of days, and we drank lots of margaritas, and it's crazy. So go and look on the YouTube. Go and check out. I'll
have to put a link to that.
They are hilarious. I mean, I'm trying to play, but I can't because I'm just laughing so much.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh well, we'll put a link to that on our.
And she put makeup on me and put my hair up in a Mohican, and it was just hilarious.
Her living doll, basically.
Yeah,
I was. Yeah.
Trying to picture doing human behavior as well with. Just hitting pans and stuff, I guess, to get those extra noises in.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh well, I am relieved that we've managed to actually start. But because what I wanted to say, Chesney, first of all, was that it's about time we met, because I did actually marry you in 1991.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, I was 12, and it was all in my imagination. And I'm
sorry, I missed that.
We're both married to other people now, but I mean.
We need to have like an imaginary divorce, or
I think we'll do that
separation.
On air.
Divorce seems
just
a bit
separation.
final.
It's too much. It's too much. I'm not ready to deal with that yet. But what we'd like to do is sort of kind of start at the beginning and kind of work up to now. And the key theme when we said we're going to interview you was so many 45-year-old women saying, "Oh my goodness, he was my first love, and I wanted to marry him." And I was like, "No, back off, guys."
I already married him. Got their first love.
Were you aware? I mean, to a certain extent, you must have been, because doing shows and that mass adoration. But were you aware of your status at that very beginning, when you just became a smash hit, like out of the blocks, 19, so young?
I mean, I'm kind of aware of it in a way, because because of the amount of the change that happened. Like the girls outside the house, like camping outside our house, and
I didn't go that far.
No, there was a few, and I still see some of those girls. I actually kind of got to know them, because you see them every day coming in and out of the gates and everything. And now I see them, and of course they're now like mums with whatever, and all going through the same thing that I'm going through, kids, and this part of life, I guess. But as far as that kind of adoration thing, I mean, I didn't see that as like you saying, in your bedroom, or like with looking at pictures of me on your wall or whatever, and pretending you were going to marry me. All that stuff didn't come into my head. I was just doing my thing. I was a 19-year-old kid. I mean, I didn't really know what was going on. Every day was was a bit manic. Sometimes I would get up in the morning and not know where I was for a start and where I was going that day. And there would be, sometimes it was as much up to, I think the record was 7 countries in one day.
Wow.
So I would kind of like wake up in Germany and then have to go to Italy to do a TV show, and then go to Spain to do another TV show, and then I had some radio things in Ireland or something, and then you'd end up in Leeds to do a gig. That was how crazy
Shame.
it was. Yeah.
I mean, you're basically Santa Claus. You're just sort of following the time zones.
Yes, exactly. Throwing my presents around.
End up in Leeds. Oh dear.
So you started out in the film Buddy Song, which I have revisited since we knew that you were coming on the show. I had forgotten how brilliant that film was and what an impact it had on me. Did you have to audition for it? How did it come about?
Yeah, I auditioned. It was like, I'll tell you where it started. I actually was having my wisdom teeth out, and I was like, just 17, and I remember waking up in the hospital with, stuff in my mouth and couldn't talk. And there was a little TV in the corner of the hospital room. And Roger Daltrey was sitting talking to, I don't remember who it would have been, but it would have been GMTV, and he's like appealing for a young boy that could possibly be his son, that could sing, that could play guitar and could act or whatever. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. And so Nick, the week after that, I found myself at a kind of a casting call, with loads of young boys. It was like an X Factor type of thing with, lines around the block type of thing. And that's how it started. And, I got through that first round, and there was like 6 or 7, like, callbacks, and which culminated in a screen test at Bray Studios with Roger. And it was just 2 of us at that point. So it was just down to the 2 of us. And oh my goodness, I love the balloons.
At this point in the interview, Susie managed to release a bunch of virtual balloons in front of Chesney's face. Ever the professional. I'm so proud.
Well, I'm quite sure how that happened.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
Me neither. As long as one of us turns into a cat, we're all right.
I don't know.
You could have done the balloons like when I said I got the part. Is that...
Well, do you know what I was doing? I was just
bit of the story.
I was checking I was checking it was recording. I got a bit panicked that it wasn't recording.
I've lost my train of thought completely.
I'm so sorry. I don't know how it happened. Because I just need to check is it recording for everybody?
It says recording in the top left there, but I want more balloons.
I'm so sorry. If I can do the balloons again, I will, but I just had a mini heart attack. Let's see if I can do the balloon. You keep talking.
Yeah.
So
although it might put me off my train of thought. See what other lovely things.
I think you just made that happen yourself, honestly.
No hands. Look, no hands.
Chesney got the part, the balloons appear.
Right,
so
sorry.
You and another person.
Yeah, me and another guy. I had never acted before at all. It wasn't something that I had even thought about. My mum was an actress, fun enough, but I was always music all the way through. So the screen test was me and this other guy, and we had to do a very emotional scene with Roger. Which culminated in him slapping us. And I remember at the time thinking, well, I'd never acted, so I thought, well, obviously when it gets to that point, he's obviously going to pretend to slap me, and then I'm going to pretend to be slapped, of course, but I guess we just didn't talk about it. And then anyway, it got to that part of the scene. This is Roger Daltrey we're talking about, and he just walloped me across the face. And I mean, hard too.
You'd be in serious trouble if you did that.
I know. It's like child abuse. And so I had like a big kind of Roger Daltrey size handprint on my face, and that's probably why I got the part. There was real tears,
Yeah.
There was no acting there. I was like, Roger Daltrey just hit me, and and then the other part of it was I had to do a performance on the stage, because they did this screen test at Bray Studios, which is where the Who were rehearsing for one of their comeback tours, whatever, final comeback, whatever, one of those two.
Yeah.
And so I had to go onto the stage where the Who were rehearsing with all the massive, stuff everywhere. And then on the floor down there was Roger and all of the producers of the film and lots of people. And I looked behind at the back of the of the room, and Pete Townshend, who was an absolute hero of mine.
Wow.
Like standing there, like just arms folded and just leaning on the wall there. And I wasn't really a guitarist, to be honest, at that point. I was more of a piano player. So I'd kind of like, Dad had taught me a few chords. And I remember I was doing Elvis Presley's Well, That's All Right, Mama. And because it was kind of like a Teddy Boy type of part. And so yeah, that was tough. And I remember I was playing and just thinking, what am I doing as the greatest guitar player ever over there, and like and Roger Daltrey's there. Very scary.
It's a real out of body experience.
It was. And as I was playing, it gets worse. Roger started walking up towards the stairs that were leading up to the stage, and I was just kind of like had my eye on him and just my brain trying to get through the song. And I was watching him, and he walked all the way up the stairs, all the way across the stage to me, and he grabbed. Can I swear?
Yes, go for it.
Okay.
I love a
yeah,
swear.
and as I was playing, he just grabbed my leg and he said, "Stop moving your fucking leg." I was like,
yes, okay, yes.
I thought
I'm being Elvis Presley. He moves his leg.
Have you not seen Elvis from the,
Oh my God, terrifying.
Oh, good grief. But then you got the part.
Yes, where's my balloons?
With your balloons,
I mean, I wish I could do it again.
I
I wish I had any idea how I did that. I wish I had any idea how I'm doing any of this right now.
Well, at least I could see recording in the top left.
Yes,
so.
I can as well. And the music in the film was recorded live, wasn't it? Which is really unusual.
Yeah,
Daunted by that, or was that okay?
Yeah, no, that was, I was really happy about that, actually. It was the first time it'd ever been done. Where in fact, that's not completely true. Apparently Coal Miner's Daughter with Sissy Spacek, they had done that before as well. But it was the first British film, I think, that had ever done actual live music straight to celluloid, as it were, So that was a challenge because I had to sing the same and as good every single time that it's filmed. And of course, you know what it's like in filming. You're an actress, right, Susie?
Yes, and Esther is as well.
Oh, you're both actresses. Yes. So what it's like. You have to film 15 times or whatever, different angles and different takes, different whatever. And so I had to kind of be on vocally, all the time throughout that whole film. And it was great. It was Roger that was very much the kind of guiding force on that. He was like, no, we have to make it live. I guess lead singer of the Who and all that is very much up into the live music. So yeah, it was great. And I think it really comes across because I watch the film now and I think it's kind of rough and ready. It's like you can tell that it's live. You can tell that it's a little bit raw here and there, and I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I do as well. It's
works.
Quite engaging, isn't it? It's quite an engaging thing to sort of because you can tell. And I heard that your dad discovered the song "The One and Only," didn't he?
Yes, he did. We'd finished the film, and we had recorded the album at Abbey Road, and the record company were, they loved the songs and everything, and but they were like, maybe we could. Maybe have another couple of songs, maybe a single. I don't know. Let's look out. Let's look out for a song. So because it was a major record label, it was one of those moments where lots of writers were putting songs in, and I was writing songs. I got a few songs on the album, which I was very proud of because I was only 17, 18. And then my dad had lunch with his old friend Stuart Newton, who was one of the heads at Warner Chappell Music, and he played a song. He said, "What do you think of this?" And Dad tells this story much better, but he was like, "Well, obviously it came over the speakers, and it was like, well, that's obviously Nick Kershaw. Is that a new Nick album? Chesney will be happy because he's a massive fan. I was always a big fan." He said, well, it obviously is Nick, but these are songs that he wants to maybe try and get out there for other artists. He's trying to concentrate on writing for other artists. And so Dad brought a cassette back to me. I've still got that cassette somewhere. And it had 15 songs on it. And I can still see the asterisks that I put on it for The One and Only, and two other songs. One was called Oxygen. And the other one was called I'm in Love with My TV. And so Jason Donovan ended up recording Oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
And Cliff Richard recorded "I'm in Love with My TV." So there you
God.
go, and I got the one and only.
Well, you won.
I think you did.
I think I won that one.
Yeah. I think you did.
You definitely won. I mean,
Yeah.
that song, I asked my 9-year-old, I was singing it. I mean, I do sing it on a regular basis anyway, but I've been singing it quite a lot recently. And I said, do you know this song, B? And he said, yeah, I do. And I was like, well, she probably does, because she's probably, it's kind of, it's never gone away. And it's it's the most joyful, and it's fantastic to sing to as well. It's got Nick Kershaw, all hail. You've got quite similar voices, haven't you? Do you think?
I don't know, to be honest. His is a lot more pure than mine. He's got a very pure tone. I love Nick's voice. As I said before, I'm a huge fan, always have been. Anyone that hasn't seen him live should go. He's actually on tour at the moment. So if he's coming to a town near you, go see him. He's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I forgot the question now. You asked.
No, if you've got similar, because I was listening to the Sunset Sessions EP, and you've got a duet, and it's really lovely, and the blend of your voices. And in fact, a question. We'll fling in this question from the audience, because it's come to mind now. We're talking about Nick Kershaw. My friend Matt Jamie put on a question on Instagram. He's a big Nick Kershaw fan and wondered if you're going to collaborate again, if there's any plans to collaborate with him again in the future.
Well, to be honest with you, I never stopped. Nick and I have written hundreds of songs together over the years. I've had songs on his albums over the years. He's obviously had songs on mine. Yeah. All the way through. Contrary to popular belief, I did record more than one song in my career.
There's hundreds, absolutely hundreds. Yeah.
So there's a few albums out there, and I've got a new album coming out next year, on which Nick has 3 songs. So
fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, we never stop. And as you said, like even during COVID, like we're so used to getting together and writing, and we're good mates as well, and our wives are friends and everything else. So he suggested we do something. So that song "Lost in You" we recorded locally. I was in LA, he was in Sussex, and we did a little video for it. I mean, it was like we had bugger all else to do.
Yeah. Well, this is where this podcast came out of.
Right. Yeah. Me too. I did exactly the same thing.
It's that creativity, isn't it? It's finding that creativity through lockdown. And I think for a lot of people who are creative, that it was good to be able to have that outlet, or we kind of had to go a bit mad. Actually, totally. We did have a question. We were going to do a quick fire at the end, and we probably still will. But one of the questions we had is from Susan Hawkins, and she says, "Do you ever get sick of singing the one and only?"
No, not now. There was a time. As you can imagine, I have had my ups and downs with that song over the years. I didn't sing it for, getting on for maybe 8 years after the kind of rise and fall, as it were. I definitely shied away from even going out as under my name. I formed bands and, pretended I was in Radiohead and shoegazed and turned up to 11 on my guitar and and anyone that came to see our band would recognize me and shout out, "Do the one and only." Piss off.
Yeah.
Pretending I was like, I don't know, some kind of rock and roller or something, which I am, because that's where I come from. I mean, that's the thing. There's definitely preconceptions about me being like, Mr. Pop, but really left to my own devices, I really am a bit of a rock and roller, to be honest.
Yeah. Did you find that, like you say, there was a rise and then there was a fall, which tends to happen in this country in particular, doesn't it? Did you feel like you just wanted to turn your back on everything and reinvent yourself?
Yes, I did. But I mean, the thing about that time was, I got dropped from the record label when I was like 22, 23, really young. And I mean, it felt weird because I built up what I thought was kind of a family, the record company people around me, some of the girls from the promotion that used to travel with me and stuff, and my management and all that. And then when it all kind of, dried up, and then the record company dropped me and I couldn't get them on the phone anymore, I was like, oh shit. Okay. So it was like being in a club, in in the VIP area with champagne and everything's great, and then a bouncer just kind of like grabbing you by the scruff of the neck and just kicking you out the back door, and and you end up in the rain in the gutter out the back there. That's kind of how it was. And when you're young, you don't really know how to look after your mental health and how to deal with something like that, how to kind of put things into place to kind of make sure that you're okay. And of course, even back then, nobody knew what mental health was. You just get on with it.
Yeah.
So I think what I probably did as a kid was just shoved it down there and put the lid on and dust myself off and got up and started a band. And I'm very tenacious, always have been. That's just part of my personality, I think. So I was no way, I'm not give up music. It's all I ever know and all I ever love. I still can't pass a guitar without picking it up. It's just what I do. So in a way, I just kind of pushed it all back, and I think I dealt with it later on in life, which I think we all do, don't we? And any kind of childhood trauma or anything that you've gone through in life, and we all have those things, of course, that you get to a point in your life where you're like, actually that was not okay, that's a bit shit, and maybe I haven't kind of looked at that properly. And I did a little bit of therapy, and I've got an amazing, incredible, beautiful, fabulous wife who said, right, sort your shit out, Hawkes. and helped me through those times, and it's like I equate it to kind of like picking up a dusty old pebble that that's been sitting in the corner there, and you just kind of blow it off, all the stuff and all the dust, and just kind of polish it up and have a good old look at it, and just find a way to move past that and move on from it, and I mean, I think I'm generally naturally a positive person, so that's helped me through.
Yeah. And do you think creativity itself was kind of healing?
Absolutely, but I think that is very, very true, Susie, for sure. 'Cause, I mean, anyone that's a creative person will understand that and relate to that. There's nothing quite like doing your art. There's nothing like it, and it's just, especially when people like it, and you just kind of get such a buzz from it. And just creating is an amazing drug. But when you're down, or there's something stopping you from writing, or stopping you from doing what you're doing, it's really hard to get back into that vibe, isn't it? You have to really look at yourself and just force yourself to do so. It's like I found throughout my life, I've found myself just kind of like not wallowing, but just kind of not doing what I know I should be doing, because that makes me happy. It's like, it's simple, really. It's like, find those things that make you happy. My wife makes me happy. My children make me happy. My music makes me happy. So just do that,
Yes.
Follow those things.
And it doesn't have to be for somebody else, does it? It doesn't always have to be for somebody else.
It has. Well, I think most importantly, it has to be for you.
Yeah.
And and then once you've kind of learned to love you again, then you can love other people, and you can help other people, for sure.
Yeah. I was talking about your children. I know that your son Indiana particularly is he on tour with you at the moment? Is he?
Yeah. That's wild. That's really fun. I love that. All of my kids are creative in some respect. My eldest Casey, he's 22, and he's an actor, and he's in LA. And my daughter Jessie, she's actually at St Andrews University in Scotland, studying animal behaviour.
Wow.
So she'll probably end up tagging chimps in the wild or something,
and playing golf and marrying a royal, potentially.
perhaps. And yes, as you'd mentioned, my son Indy, he's 17 and is an incredible, naturally gifted guitar player. He's just so good. Actually, a musician. He plays drums, plays keys, everything. So he's at the Brit School in London, which is obviously a very prestigious, art school. And he is now playing with me. So he's so good. I was like, well, do you want to come and do some work experience with me? Come and play guitar, you know. So he started that like literally over a year ago now, and it's just so fun turning around and seeing my boy, you know, on his knees playing guitar solos, like, and he looks like me in '91. It is quite funny, actually.
Oh, and how do you feel about him kind of following, you know, your footsteps into the industry?
I am happy if my kids are following their passions, you know, and if he wanted to be an accountant and he was passionate about numbers, then fantastic, and I would absolutely encourage him to do that. So you know, it just so happens that he went for music, and there's no denying it, you know. It's like it's his waking thought. Well, that and West Ham.
Yeah, I've got my daughter's so 9, and she's done a little bit of acting, doing bits here and there, and she's got a big audition next week, and I'm kind of equally like, yes, go girl, and oh god, please be an accountant. I mean, it's like,
I know.
Oh.
It is heartbreaking, but you know, I always say that to Indy too, like, because he loves music and football so much. I'm like, there's a lot of similarities there, mate. If you follow a club, you're going to have heartbreak, and you're going to have like amazing, you know, times, and that's kind of what it's like, you know, in the music industry. You're going to have heartbreak because you're going to get knocked back, and you are also going to have euphoric moments that you just won't ever forget, and that's just the way it is. It's a roller coaster. So says Ronan.
Yes. Do you know Ronan? You probably
I've
worked
met
with
Ronan a few times.
Yeah,
yes, yeah. I was playing with him. I did a gig with him the other day at Liverpool Arena. So
wow. I was going to say, actually having you behind him, beside him, is just
you
a
talking
massive
about Ronan
boon.
or my son now?
I think both. I think Ronan is very lucky to have you there.
Very lucky
Chesney.
to have me. Yeah, it's true.
He's right now thinking that. But yeah, being able to explain to my daughter about the audition, saying it'd be fantastic, just enjoy the experience. Enjoy being there, because it's so fun. But doing an audition, that is fun. You're doing what you like doing. You're being, you know, you're doing some acting.
It's easy to say though, isn't it? Especially to a kid, because an audition like that in front of kind of older people that could actually hold something amazing for you is nerve-wracking as hell.
Well, she's not nervous though. She's not nervous.
But
it's that. I mean, I'm telling her stuff that I wish I could think.
Do yourself.
Truly think, believe myself. It's just an audition. Just enjoy it, Susie. It doesn't matter.
Have fun. Be yourself. You know?
It's the beauty. It's the beauty of being 9 years old. You don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
really need to do anything. It just needs to twinkle, and then they'll.
No, it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's so true. But maybe as she gets a little older, it'll start that will change, you know, because then she has to kind of like, you know, work on a craft and all of that stuff.
It does change, doesn't it?
Well, then it's your identity, isn't it? Then it's your identity. At the moment, it's just something fun. But when you're older, you introduce yourself as an actor, and then there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and that's tricky. We did have a question from Lucy in High Wycombe, who wanted to know if you have you ever played any of your songs with an orchestra, and if so, what was the experience like to hear your music played so differently?
I have on quite a few occasions actually. The first time. Was way back in early 90s. Well, the first time I was recording with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. All the strings on the Buddy Song album were arranged and conducted by Mike Batt.
Oh, wow.
Famous for Wombles.
The Wombles,
and for Bright Eyes, amongst many amazing things. It's funny with someone that incredibly talented musically. You know, he's an amazing, you know, classical arranger and everything, and he's famous for the Wombles. Hilarious, but so I remember that.
Great.
I remember that first.
Brilliant, but
I know. So that first moment, hearing my song with London Philharmonic Orchestra at Abbey Road, that was incredible. There was another moment where I did a gig at the Barbican with Justin Hayward and Bonnie Tyler.
Wow.
And it was the London Pops Orchestra, and we all got to sing with the orchestra, and it's like 80-piece orchestra, and it was just phenomenal. Like doing it live with this incredible orchestra behind you is really as hairs on the back of the neck. It was one of my most treasured memories. So, and over the years I've worked with orchestras before. I've actually written a little bit of classical music over the years for certain things, and you know, there's nothing quite like hearing an orchestra play music that you've written. It's really amazing.
Yeah. something very special about an
Thank you for
orchestra,
that
isn't
question, Lucy.
there?
Yes. Well, this kind of continues the same theme, really. Hazel in Guernsey wants to know, what is your favourite cover of one of your songs that you have ever heard, and who was the cover by?
One of my songs. I think my favourite one is Tears for Fears. They did a song of mine called 7 of Sundays, and I've always been a big fan of Tears for Fears. They're just, for me, one of the kind of iconic, important artists, bands from the 80s. They're still on tour now, doing really well, and you should go see them.
They've just had a new song. It's recently put a new single out, didn't they?
Yeah, and a whole album, actually. So I would say that one was probably my favourite. Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears, he sang it. So, but there's been all sorts. I love that. Working with other artists on writing songs for other artists is interesting, because sometimes you kind of get their versions back and you're like, oh, I wish I'd have been in the studio. I would have told them to sing it this way, or I wouldn't have done it that way. But you kind of have to let it go in a way, if somebody wants to record your song, they have to make it their own. I know that as an artist myself. Whenever I've recorded other people's songs, I have to be comfortable, and I have to feel that it's mine in a way, so it is interesting and absolutely euphoric when it comes back and I'm like, oh wow, I wouldn't have thought of doing it like that. That's incredible. So yeah.
And you mentor a lot of people. Who was your mentor? Did you have one?
Yeah, I had a few. Obviously my father. My dad was in the Tremolos, so very much a musical background, and I have memories of a kid watching him from behind the wings. He used to take us kids even when I was like 7 years old, I think, when I first saw them, and that was just a life-changing experience, watching the old man with knickers being thrown at him and long flowing hair, and I mean just leather trousers. The Tremolos were amazing, and still doing incredibly well in the 80s, and so I witnessed that. And then of course Dad had a lot of great advice, some good, some bad, I would say, because he's basically a rock and roller, my old man. He wasn't particularly great with the business side of the record business, but he managed me in those early days, so there I would definitely say a mentor. Then there was Roger. He gave me some great advice as all those times went on. I remember he was one of the people that said never stop playing live. He's very much like pushing me into making sure that I had a good live band, and I never stopped playing. And I haven't. I still hear him saying it. He says it like it is, Roger. But then I think musically, the biggest kind of most consistent mentor that I've had throughout my whole life really is Nick. Yeah, I've learned so much from him. He's a unique songwriter, and luckily I love the way he writes. He's an incredibly intuitive and different songwriter, and he creates music in a way that I've never seen with anyone else, and I've written with hundreds of other people. And he's so creative, and he just goes places where you wouldn't necessarily think about going, and I think I've learned that from him, and amongst many other things. But I always think whenever I'm writing a song, I'm like, what would Nick do?
Oh, that's
how
so great.
Incredible that you were so inspired by him and you really were a big fan, and now he's your biggest mentor and you work with him continuously. That's sort of the stuff of dreams, isn't it?
And would you believe he's now mentoring my son a little bit too? He gave India a guitar lesson the other day and showed him how to play the one and only solo properly, and like
that's cool.
So I can see him releasing that in years to come.
Yeah,
happening.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot out of mentoring?
Yeah, I do, and I've had amazing experiences. You learn from everyone that you work with. Even these very young artists, that the reason that they're doing it is because they have a talent that is just there. They just So I love working with young artists because that talent it hasn't been kind of molded or changed, or you get, if you get them young enough, you can actually just like take and find that special thing that they have and just say like, do more of that. Just that's
Yes.
great, and just follow your heart. It's like, because a lot of artists, they get molded too much. And, I loved working with artists and just saying, just do what would you do there? Just play with it, and you get the heart of it. You get their heart come through. And I absolutely love it. And of course I've been through the machine myself, so I could give them advice on what it's like dealing with record company executives and, the business side of it, the kind of the difficult side of it, that we all have to deal with. So that's something I absolutely enjoy. I haven't done it for a while, actually, because I kind of started concentrating on me again. So I'm making my own music again, which is nice.
It's very good. I wanted to ask, because someone who on Instagram who wrote a little thing was Jonathan Harvey, writer of Beautiful Thing, which is currently on at Stratford East, I think, and Coronation Street, various things. But he said that you were in a show that he'd written quite a number of years ago called Panto, with Sheridan Smith and John Bishop. Yeah. And he said you were so brilliant because, as you said, you have to do take after take after take. And he said you were just such a great, great sport, and you just did it and you were fantastic. So I wanted to mention Jonathan.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah, I remember Jonathan. Yeah, he'd written it with John Bishop. Yeah, because that came from, originally I actually did actual Panto with John Bishop before John was even a name. In fact, he wasn't even the top comedian on the bill.
Wow.
So that's how I met John. And he's an amazing character, John. I talk about tenacious. If he wants to do something, he just does it. It's like there's no thinking about it. It's just like, well, let's just do it. So I remember being backstage at Panto, and we were looking around and just commenting on how funny it is backstage at Panto without even trying. It's just funny, there's just funny scenes, and it was kind of around when The Office was big, and we thought it'd make a really funny kind of fly on the wall documentary type of style. And so we were just talking about it. And next thing we know, and I was with Darren Day was starring in that as well, and his then wife Stephanie Dooley. And the next day, we all got scripts. There was a camera crew, and we all, backstage.
And you've done it.
We did it. We did this kind of like, one-off half an hour kind of pilot type of thing. It's actually online. It's on the internet now on YouTube. If anyone wants.
I watched it. I remember it.
Oh, you watched it?
Susie told me about it, and I remember watching it when it was on. I remember.
Well, you may not have seen the one that I'm talking about, because that was the original thing.
Oh, okay.
And then it kind of died because John wasn't famous, and I wasn't kind of pushing it. It was his thing, so he took it to all the BBC and ITV and Channel 4 and Sky and everything else, and it got turned down everywhere. So then John went off and meteorically became a superstar, and of course everybody wants things from John. And I guess he was in a meeting with ITV, and they were like, "Got anything?" And he's like, "Well, I do have this little idea." And so he put it forward to them, and it became more of a comedy drama type of thing. But and that's where I guess your lovely friend Jonathan got involved, and then it became like this. It was a proper feature film, to be honest. And I was the only person from the original thing that was invited back in to do it.
Special guest. Would you do more? I mean, obviously you are a very talented actor, as well as a singer, a musician. Would you want to do more of the acting side of things?
I would. If I do have any regrets, it's that I didn't kind of do a little more acting over the years. Film acting, I'd really love to have done more of that. But yeah, I never say never at all. I've just been so kind of concentrating on music my whole career that I haven't, I've just not really gone down that road. I've done a few bits and pieces here and there, mainly theatre actually, but I would definitely like to do some more acting.
Well,
good to know, Chesney. We have a script.
Put that out there. Yeah, tell you what,
let's do something together. Come on,
let's
girls.
do it now.
I'm sure we can come up with something.
Well, look, it's out there in the ether now, isn't it? So this episode is called Time for Changing Seasons, and at this time of year I get a bit panicky because I do get quite affected by sad seasonal affective disorder. I don't know if you have that problem in LA, actually. Maybe you don't.
Well, you don't get a chance to be honest, because my friend always says, never trust anywhere where the sun always shines.
Title of a song, isn't it? It should be.
It should be a song.
Yeah.
Right.
What are your coping kind of mechanisms for, I don't know, because we do have changes throughout the year, and if there's anything that you do yourself,
changing seasons,
or just for keeping yourself kind of motivated and your good mindset, the things that do.
We kind of touched upon it a little bit for me earlier on. I very much concentrate on the things that make me happy. To stay positive. But it's not just like, obviously I love my wife, I love my kids, I love what I do. It's little things. Like I love a sunset. I love the river. My parents live on the river, and I can literally look out when I stay here. I open the door and just in the mornings and just I'm amazed and grateful and honored that I can do that. It's the pets, my pet, it's like I love my dogs. I really try, and if I get down or I start to kind of like think about things too much, or life gets too fast, that's the thing. I think the main thing for me, because I'm my main gripe with myself in my life right now is that I'm away from home quite a lot. I'm away from my loved ones because I'm always on tour and they're at home. And so I do get moments where I'm like, I wish I was at home, and why do I have to be here and do this? And, but then I look and I'll be like, so my brother's with me. He's my drummer and I love my bro, and I get time with him. I'm here with my parents, and I'm actually lucky enough to be able to actually spend quality time with my parents at this time in life when this is actually what they would need, and I probably, if I lived here in the UK, maybe I wouldn't see him as much because I would be home putting up a fence or whatever else it is I'm doing. My wife will laugh at that because I've never put up a fence.
I guess it's a sense of gratitude.
I don't know where that came from.
I guess it's a sense of gratitude, isn't it? Then it's a sense of like, we're alive. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that lovely? Like, look at the sunset, look at the river, look at my dogs. It's all which I know sounds is like very easy to say, and there's a lot of people out there that are suffering and have clinical depression or something, grieving, whatever it is that we're all going through in the human way that we do. And I understand that. It's like, oh, fuck off, Chesney, you got a good life, whatever. I understand that. I really do. But, we all go through things, don't we? And we all grieve at times. And there are difficulties in life that we all have to. Hello, Mum. My mum just came in there and said hello.
Hello, Mrs. Hawkes.
Say hello. I'm in the middle of a podcast.
Hello. Sorry. That's all right. Lovely to see you.
Oh my goodness. Now I understand. I was going to ask if you use a lot of oil of Ulay or oil of
but now my mum's.
This makes perfect sense. This is why.
Yeah, she's forever Goldie Hawn.
Oh yes. God, stunning. Oh. We probably need to wrap up, don't we?
Yes, let's hit you with the last question.
Just these last kind of quick fire fan questions. So Sarah Scott would like to know, do you have a favourite Spice Girl? Or did you?
Do you know what? I was so like crazed in those days that I didn't really get into the Spice Girls. But since then, I would say if I had to choose, I would probably go for Baby Spice.
Nice. Yes.
Okay.
Rachel would like to know what it was like growing up in Windsor. Did you ever meet the Queen?
I never met the Queen. I met Princess Diana. I met Princess Anne, but never the Queen, unfortunately.
Who are your favourite bands at the moment, says Sally?
My favourite artist right now is Phoebe Bridgers. Do you know her?
Oh yeah, I know Phoebe Bridgers. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, because there's not a lot of people do, like, especially here. She's quite big in the States, but I just love her. I'm slightly obsessed, I have to say. There's an album called The Punisher, which is just it's inspiring. I'll
check her out. I will check her out. I've got just not really a question, more of a comment. Lucy Speed, fabulous actress known for EastEnders, currently in The Archers, being brilliant. She remembers
her and her brother admiring the fact and totally respecting the fact that you sang in a British accent, not a US, which I think probably was quite a thing at that time. Really, when you first started out, was that? I mean, obviously, Buddy's song was very British, but had that ever been a thing that you did? I mean, obviously, Elvis Presley impressions would have been.
Oh, that's all right, Mum.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that's interesting, Lucy. Is it Lucy? It was Lucy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I love all of your question askers are famous.
We just can't help it, Chesney.
It's like a celebrity audience.
Well, you know,
a celebrity audience with.
We've paid them all. We can't pay you though. Sorry.
So yes, I think for me that was actually something that I purposefully did. I'm a big Elvis Costello fan, and I always loved the fact that he sung in an English accent. It's funny though, because I feel like I did that a little more when I was younger. I've definitely tried to, but there are certain songs where I listen, I'm like, why did I sing that in slightly American twang? But yeah, it's fun. I've heard that's something I've heard before. So especially the one and only. Yeah, I said can't instead of can't. And
yeah,
can't take that away from me.
Yeah, it's lovely though, isn't it? Because it was very much the British youth kind of.
Yeah, it was a very British thing. Absolutely,
yeah, it's lovely. Another kind of comment from Kylie Dunbar, who is actually a published. She writes fantastic romantic fiction. Kylie, she says, I saw Chesney at the Edinburgh Playhouse in maybe 91. My mum got the tickets. We went with my aunt and wee cousin Karen. She must have been tiny. We were front of the row of the gallery and danced the whole way through. It was a proper rock show, actually, which folks might not have given him credit for, to be honest.
There you go.
Anyway, at one point the lights cut out, and when they came on, Chesney was holding up a quite sizable pair of knickers, and her mum, Kylie's mum, quick as a flash, said, "Those are mine. He caught them." They weren't hers, but her wee cousin Karen's face was such a picture of amazement we never let on that they were not actually her auntie Christine's pants. She said it was the Secrets of the Hearts tour, autumn 1991.
Yeah,
it's great. So I've ruined it for now, little cousin Karen. They weren't your auntie Christine's pants.
Cousin Karen. Oh,
I would never claim a massive pair of pants for mine.
No, why would you do that? Exactly. Yeah, but I do get a lot of massive pants these days, as you can probably imagine.
do people still throw pants?
I do get pants, knickers, pants, boxer shorts.
Bras, what do you do with them?
That suffocate me.
what happens to this stuff at the end of the show?
Well, I have roadies that say they dispose of them, but
oh my goodness, have you got any more questions, Esther, from fans?
One last question.
One from Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Steph, who isn't famous, but she has a very large blogging page about cruising. In the boat.
Cruise.
So cruising. I must have known.
So weird.
She would like to ask, do you like performing on cruise ships?
I do. I've done that for a while now, maybe 5 years. Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't really do anything but the Limelight Club on P&O, on the P&O ships. And what I love about the Limelight Club is it's a very small, intimate venue, maybe 200 people. And it's like an old-fashioned supper club, where
lovely.
Yeah, so they get a really nice meal that you can't get anywhere else on the ship. And then they get entertained by me. And I just do just acoustic, just me and a guitar. And there's all sorts of like great artists that come on to do, like, I guess Gareth Gates does it. Darren Day does it, funnily enough. Who else? Toya's done it as well.
Wow.
And there's all sorts of people that do that room, and it's a particularly great gig, actually. And I really like the intimacy of that. So yeah. Thank you very much so I'll have to check her blog out then, huh?
Well, she did send a photograph of you and her together, so she has met you. My mate Chesney.
We're all going to say that now.
Oh yeah, we're all mates now. Well, aren't we going to write a film together? We're going to
absolutely.
I mean, genuinely, yes. But
yeah, of course we are.
I must say hello from my friend Mersima, because we were both kind of.
Is she famous?
No, but she does live in LA, so watch out.
All right then.
We were kind of both at school together, and kind of we were big fans. Chesney, we'll just say that.
Great name, Mersima.
Yeah, Mersima Musavian is the full name.
Oh, what a lovely name! Wow. Lovely name. Well, hi, Mersima.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'll see you on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we should let you go because we are over time. But thank you so much. That was just brilliant, fascinating, and you're such a lovely guy, and it was lovely to speak to you.
Thank you
Thanks
for
giving up
having
your
me.
time.
Really, I enjoyed it too. I really did.
Oh, yeah,
good.
thank you. We really appreciate you giving us your time.
You have been listening to Limited Time Only.
Thank you so much to Chesney Hawkes for being an amazing first guest and giving up his time to speak to us.
It was so much fun chatting to him.
And thank you to everyone who signed up to be an LTO patron.
You can find us at patreon.com by searching for Limited Time Only Podcast.
And the biggest thank you of all goes to you for listening.
Thank you, and see you in 2 weeks' time.
She wanted to marry him at age 12.